Okay, as I said, I was going to do a follow-up on the Homage watches that I ordered off of AliExpress's 11/11 sale. Here's number two. I did the Cronos Explorer Homage. Here is the Cronos Black Bay 54 Homage. It's model number L6033. And it also was stamped with the PT5004, which is a recent update. And you cannot find that movement on AliExpress. At least I haven't been able to find it. But it's basically the PT5000 with some improvements, especially for no-date watches. Um, at least this is what I've researched so far. Now I'm going to do a video where I'll open the case back on one of these two. Like I said, I also have the Cronos 39mm Explorer Homage. That model's L6031. But dang, I I can't even, I don't even have words. As somebody who has collected genuine Rolex watches and a few Tudor watches, and I was on the fence of buying a genuine Black Bay 54. I am completely blown away. Now, I have tried on at the authorized dealer a Black Bay 54, and if my memory serves me correct, this is nearly, this is extremely close. And now, of course, I'm shooting this video during the day, and I did just charge it about 5 minutes ago with blue light, about 10 minutes ago, actually. So it's already, the lume is supposed to be very strong on this. And ironically, on some of the reviews I read about the Black Bay 54 is that the lume's not that impressive. And this one's supposedly pretty impressive. So it looks like they use C3 on the dial, which glows green. And then they use maybe BGW9 for the lume pip, which is blue, which is a little odd. That's a little bit different from the homage, the model that it's homaging, the Black Bay 54. But it actually looks cool at night, or in the dark, I should say. This is actually about 2:45 or Illinois time. So, anyways, of course, it gets dark faster. But this is extremely impressive. And why I say it's impressive, now, of course, I don't recall that obviously the Black Bay 54 doesn't have the side deployment buttons. But what this does have is it's a very nice clasp. It has the press, there's a button you press to adjust the band. I forget what Tudor's, it's not like the glide lock. They have a different word for it, but it's supposed to be a really nice part of the Black Bay 54. And this has something very similar to that. And it's awesome because when I first, like I said before, my wrists are honking, the 8-inch wrists. And you could see this is a 37mm homage of the Black Bay 54, and it's pretty accurate on specs. And it looks a little bit small on my wrist, although better than the Cronos 36mm, which emulates the Explorer 1 36mm, which is obviously 1mm smaller. But there's a marketable difference in wrist real estate here. So this is more probably appropriate for my wrist. They're different watches, of course. This is, the Black Bay 54 is a homage, or I would say I've always said it's a homage of the Rolex 5508. But back, technically speaking, and I think they released it a year later, when 1953, when some of the first subs came out, I think the 5508, I forget which model was first, but I think it was close to the 5508. That's the one you see in the first James Bond, Dr. No, where you see a close-up of it. I think Tudor came out with the 7922, and that's what it's basically kind of it depends how you want to word it. I don't want to offend any Tudor owners, because I'm also a Tudor lover and owner. But I have been on the fence because now the Black Bay is, it's 4,100, I think, but there's some discounts, especially around Black Friday. But and I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's butt, but really, if somebody got this on their wrist and then compared it to their Black Bay 54, I think they would be very impressed. Almost think it, for the money that I spent. What did I spend on this? 160, 165, somewhere around there with the sale. I seen them much higher, but with the 11/11 sale around Black Friday and November, they have this sale every year. There's a coupon that takes it down. So I think it was like I want to say 170 shipped. Shipping was free, but of course they're covering the tariffs, which I didn't get a tariff. They cover that with the sale on AliExpress. So Cronos is really impressing the snot out of me. And like I said, I own actually 10 total Rolexes. Now, to be fair, I don't own any newer ones because when I acquired my collection, it was probably 20 years, in the last 20 years or so ago. And they're all 5 digits. Like matter of fact, that only first one I owned, the only first one I owned that was new was the 16610 I bought in 2010. So I don't have really any, newer versions. Like I don't have a ceramic maxi case. I never really had an interest in it. The only one that's piqued my interest was the Black Bay, but the first Black Bay that came out in 2012 was too chunky for my wrist, too tall, too thick. And I actually tried it on, and I was going to buy it. I had my credit card in my pocket with the motivation of buying it, but I handed it back to the lady at the desk there who was letting me try it on. And the Black Bay always piqued my interest because it is it's kind of a homage back to the 1950s Tudors, which are basically a homage of the Rolex Submariner. I want to say a homage, but I mean they had their place in time, but they were basically, obviously we know Tudor is just a Rolex without the in-house movement, which ironically back in the 50s that wasn't. I think they were still, Rolex, were they using an Angler? I forget. I'm just rambling. I'm sorry, but I think the Tudors were using the FEF 390 movement, and then later switched to the ETA. But yeah, I mean that's a sapphire crystal. The lume is awesome. I already looked at. Of course, it's like I said, daylight. This is version 2. They initially released a Black Bay 54 with a thicker case. And I guess I had seen posts about it several months back, where they had said that they listened to customer feedback about thinning the case out, and they did. And this is appropriately the correct thickness to match the, I don't know if it's exact, but it's within probably a millimeter or less of the, or it's probably spot on. I can't really tell. Like I said, I only tried on the Black Bay 54, so I'm going a lot by pictures and memory. Obviously, it's got the Cronos, insignia on the crown as well, but it's pretty much a homage. And because the Cronos has the gold tone, the gold inlay there with the track and stuff, the dial. Probably the only thing that differentiates this, I would say, is without the lume. I think, and it was always noted with other people saying that the indices without being charged are a little bit too dark, but I kind of like that because that's that Fotina, that vintage patina, Fox patina, which the Black Bay 54 has, but maybe this is a little bit darker, a little bit more cream colored, but it actually looks nice. But try not to move my wrist around a lot. Let's let you get a look at it. But the bezel action, I keep saying bezel. I'm holding my phone. I'll do a proper review of this. I just wanted to do a quick review. I'm already, 9 minutes? My apologies. But I just wanted to give you a look. Like I said, it's got the slide adjustment clasp. For $170 shipped to the door, somewhere around about there. I'll have to look at the invoice, but I am very impressed with Cronos so far. Like I said, this is my second Cronos homage, and I was never a big homage fan. I mean, I went as far as, after I collected all my Rolexes, and I bought a couple Omegas. I bought many of them pre-owned. I only bought one new one, which was at 16610 back in 2010 from an AD. As the ceramics were rolling in, I had to kind of track that one down because a lot of them were sold out, being replaced with the new ceramic, the first ceramics that hit the subs. But it's if you have a Black Bay 54, and if you are just wanting something maybe to bang around and avoid getting scratched, I think you'd be very impressed with it. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. That what I was trying to say was before I got derailed, I derailed myself, is the gold Cronos with the hour, the hourglass is hardly even noticeable too, and obviously it could look like pretty much anything. You'd probably have to see it in direct, but it looks like it's got a sunburst style a little bit too. But I'll do another review when I get the Explorer 39 Homage that I got coming in. I'll do a proper review. But I got to say this is more appropriate for my search for a little bit smaller footprint watch that's kind of lower profile, because I tend to leave my watches on when I sleep, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm not born into money, but all my genuine Rolexes do, and I know you can take a knocking for this. Anybody will take a knocking because we should be wearing them, but maybe it's because I don't know. I just get a weird feeling wearing a $10,000 watch every day and banging around. So I always buy these Homages and enjoy them, and some Seikos and stuff like that. That's what I wear every day if I'm out doing stuff, cutting the lawn or working on the car. Of course, you should take your watch off no matter what if you're working on the car, doing stuff on the garage. But I don't care if it's a $100 watch. But primarily, it was always Seiko, maybe an Orient. That was about as basic of a watch as I'd go. But these Homages are I'm starting to gain some traction with me as an interest. I probably won't get too many more that I can. There's really nothing more that I can think of, but I got to say this one is even closer than the. I don't know if it's closer because the case is pretty close on that Cronos, but obviously you can see the wording Cronos, where this one is more gold tone and you can barely see it. So obviously somebody's going to think you're wearing a Black Bay 54 unless they look, get right on top of you and look at it. But the lume pip's not the same, obviously. I think it's got a border around the Black Bay 54 lume pip. It's different. But you can order this. You got to be careful when you order this. Make sure you get the one you want. They sell different color bezel. They sell this one, which is not a loomed. It's an aluminum bezel, and there's nothing loomed on it other than the pip at the 12 o'clock. Of course, wherever you rotate it to. But then they have one that's got a ceramic insert where it illuminates as well, and I believe that's the same price. And that's less like the Black Bay 54, whereas this one is the closest you can get in the Cronos. I've seen other ones. I forget what is that. I forget the other brands. Starts with a P. Like I said, I'm not big into Homage watches, but I am enjoying the few that I ordered. And God, what is that? Panerai or not Panerai? Panerai is a genuine watch. I forget the name. It starts with a P, but that's also, they're big. San Martin's another one in the Homage Chinese not replica, but Homage space. And I got to say that Cronos really knocks it out of the park when it comes to Homages. And in that, like I said, in that Explorer 36, which Octopus Kraken only makes one of those, and it's in the 36. They don't make a 39 Homage. So if you want a 39, you have to kind of step out, and Cronos is going to be your best bet. So I'll do a review on that one, and I'll do a proper, more daylight review, but I think you can get a pretty good look. Like I said, I mean, I'm kind of speechless because the comfort, the adjustability on the fly of the clasp, the fact that it's a PT, and I'll show you the wording here. Let me look here. What did they say? Here's the typical box you get. with these AliExpress watches, and you get a spring bar tool in this one. Ironically, I didn't get that in that other the 36 millimeter Explorer, but I didn't get it from the Cronos official store. I got it from another seller, Chinese watch company seller, and maybe I don't know, he doesn't include it with the sale. But this coming from the Cronos watch store on AliExpress, the official watch store, it did come with the both tools and the other paperwork that it came with. But if you want to look at that, you can look at their review. But I'm just got it, just opened it, thought I'd shoot a quick review on it. It's not a quick review, it's almost 16 minutes long. My apologies, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of information. There's millions of reviews on this one, but a lot of them are older and they cover the first version. The first version, the seconds hand, had the triangular, a rectangle minute hand, where this one has the circular, which is correct to the Black Bay 54 at Homages. So this is version 2, and they did make a lot of changes to get it closer to homaging the Black Bay 54. So if somebody bought the first version of the Black Bay 54 from Cronos, it had a shinier bezel. It didn't really look that good. The case was really thick. This one, like they said, I've seen them post, we listened to customer feedback and complaints, and we corrected them. We basically implemented the changes, and now the version 2, which is this one, which nails it, completely nails it. Okay, well, if you're into Homage watches, and this is coming from somebody who has genuine Rolex, who never really liked Homage watches, but it was that C-Stern orange dial Doxa that started me down this path, just to try it out, because I was actually looking at a Seiko Turtle, but I thought, for half the price, I was looking for something like a nice that retained its lume throughout the night without going to tritium vials, which there's not many of them out there that I like in design. And now, so far, that Explorer that I covered in the previous video I just did yesterday, that one is legible throughout the night because it's using BGW9, which many have said is very close to Chromolite, Rolex's Chromolite. And that was the whole design. It doesn't glow as intense, which this one is C3, which it probably won't. We'll see. We'll see if it, after 3 hours, if I could still read it. Let's say if I wake up to, hey, I'm almost 60, I got to go pee. And we'll see if I can read it. So, okay, I'll end this video, and then I'll post the next one when I get the 39 Cronos Homage, just to cover that one too. And then maybe I'll do some more proper videos, because like I said, I don't see a lot of them out there with the updated versions of all these watches, basically the version 2s. Okay, thanks.